The idea of owning a home has been a universal aspiration for generations. However, this obsession could be setting the stage for a global economic crisis in 2025. Let's examine the factors leading us toward this potential perfect storm. The dream of homeownership, an obsolete ideal? For decades, owning a home has been considered the ultimate symbol of economic stability and personal success. This ideal is deeply rooted in cultures worldwide. In the United States, it's part of the American dream. In the United Kingdom, it's referred to as climbing the property ladder. In countries like Spain or Mexico, it is linked to long-term security. However, this ideal is increasingly out of reach for many people, especially younger generations. Factors such as stagnant wages, inflation, and ever-rising housing prices are challenging this dream. Additionally, there's a hidden risk: buying a home does not always guarantee financial stability. Many people have ended up trapped in unpayable mortgage debts, as seen during the 2008 crisis. Factors that could trigger a crisis in 2025. The global real estate market is showing signs of vulnerability. Here are some key factors that could contribute to a new crisis. Unsustainable prices in major cities like London, New York, and Tokyo. Housing costs have soared to unprecedented levels. Buying a home in these areas requires incomes that most families simply don't have. For instance, in New York, the average home price exceeds $800,000. In London, an average home costs more than 14 times the annual income of a typical family. High interest rates. Recent policies by central banks to combat inflation have raised interest rates to historic levels. This means mortgages are now far more expensive. A house that seemed affordable a couple of years ago could now be unaffordable in the current context. Massive debt. Many families are turning to loans to access housing, and personal debt levels are reaching alarming figures. When this debt combines with other economic pressures, such as rising living costs, the risk of default grows significantly. Lack of supply. In many regions of the world, not enough homes are being built to meet demand. This is particularly problematic in urban areas where populations continue to grow. In countries like Canada, it's estimated that over 3 million homes are needed to balance the market. Overinvestment in real estate. In countries like China, the real estate market is showing worrying signs. Thousands of people have invested in properties that are now losing value. Giant companies like Evergrande have collapsed, dragging down thousands of investors and affecting the broader economy. Countries defying the norm. The case of Switzerland. Unlike other countries, in Switzerland, only 42% of the population owns a home. Why? Because renting is not stigmatized. Tenant laws are robust, and society does not view renting as a failure. This model has proven to be more stable, avoiding housing bubble, less driven by the pressure to buy at all costs. However, replicating it in other places is not easy, as it requires cultural change and deep legislative reforms. The role of governments: helping or worsening the problem? Governments play a crucial role in the housing market. While they often encourage homeownership through programs and tax incentives, they also make decisions that worsen the issue. Urban development restrictions. Many cities prohibit the construction of tall buildings or affordable housing projects to protect existing property values. Lack of rental regulation. In some places, rental prices are so high that they surpass mortgage payments, leaving renters with few options. Poorly directed subsidies. Encouraging home buying without solving the supply shortage only inflates prices further. What will happen in 2025 if we don't change? If these problems persist, we could face a global housing crisis with devastating effects. More evictions. Many families won't be able to pay their mortgages or rent. Banks at risk. If defaults increase, financial institutions could face crises, as they did in 2008. Economic recession. Housing is a key sector of the economy. If it collapses, the impact will be felt in employment, trade, and global consumption. What can we do as individuals? While we can't change the system entirely, we can make smart decisions to protect ourselves. Research before buying, analyze the local market, and don't fall into the belief that prices always rise. Prioritize financial stability. If buying a home means taking on unmanageable debt, it might not be the right time. Consider renting. In some cases, renting offers more flexibility and less risk. Save for emergencies. Having an emergency fund can help you face unexpected crises. Conclusion: the obsession with homeownership has driven unsustainable prices and created a vulnerable market. If we don't act now, we could face a global crisis in 2025 that would impact millions of people. The solution? Rethink our priorities, demand public policies that balance the market, and make conscious financial decisions. If this topic interests you and you want to learn more about protecting yourself in the financial world, subscribe to My Perfect Degree. Don't forget to share this video and comment with your thoughts.